And every time I see him going, here's a check for $100,000. And it's just a big ass scribble.
Yeah, here's a check for $100,000. Come on down and try to prove me guilty at Phil Spector's used car emporium. Good credit, bad credit, no problem. Not here at Phil Spector's car emporium.
I almost beat Freebird today on Guitar Hero.
Cool.
And then my hand cramped.
Oh, Meg, you gotta limber up, bro. You gotta keep that Ben Gay right next to the fucking PS2 or whatever system you're playing this on.
They have an Xbox.
Next to the Xbox, gotta keep that tube of Ben Gay right there so when your hand starts cramping, you go to the taps, you Ben Gay the other hand real quick, and then you're good to go.
I was doing so good, too. I was shredding it on Guitar Hero
and then you
today,
weren't.
And then I wasn't. It was, oh my God. Afterwards, I was like, my hand hurt so bad because I had tried so hard to hit all those notes.
Oh, Meg, no one can hit all the notes all the time.
What difficulty were you on?
Medium.
Meg, come on.
It's pretty hard. It was one of the hardest songs. The lower down on the list you go, the harder the songs get. And it was the last song.
Meg, I am aware on how Guitar Hero works. I have played Guitar Hero before. Weirdly, not that good at Guitar Hero now, though.
That's so odd.
I know. I feel like I was noticeably better. Well, granted, I was playing it more, like, when it was a thing. But, like, I feel like, being a guitarist should give me some, like, intrinsic skills to play Guitar Hero. But, like, I feel like it just doesn't transfer. It's different stuff.
Are you looking at the notes?
I will. I have it open. In the beginning, there was nothing, and then there was everything. Then Phil Spector shot a lady. Then he went to jail. The end.
And here we are.
And that's the show. I will see you all next week. Bye. Peace.
That was
out.
That's all that we needed.
Anyways, let's educate Meg about fucking Phil Spector, that degenerate.
Let's educate Meg.
I feel like Meg will
Spector.
perhaps be the one educating us. Maybe.
I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but that might have been a joke.
My feathers have been ruffled.
Oh, I heard Jimmy's have been rustled.
Jimmy's have been rustled. Back the hell up, people. This is going to be a show.
Behold. Welcome to Friday Night Raw.
It was Monday Night Raw, you friggin' uncultured swine.
You put Monday Night Raw and Friday Night Lights together. And
those are two very different things.
Here's what I will say. I did
Same amount of hype.
Consider saying Friday Night Lights, but I did mean to say Friday Night Raw.
You said...
Welcome to Saturday mid-afternoon medium well.
I believe it was...
Tonight it's a guy with bad wigs versus...
a guy with tassely underwear. Ain't that some shit?
It's satin.
Actually, it's crushed velvet.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to Podcasts in the Sky with Diamonds. I am your host, Meg Muse. Across from me is Andrew Terbezi.
Hi.
And to my right is Christopher Safello.
Hey.
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 Don't sound so enthusiastic to be here, Chris.
I love recording.
All right, everybody. This is part 2 of the promised 2-part Spector series, Spooky Spector series.
Oh,
fuck!
In which we talk about how fucked up Phil Spector is mentally and what happened with the trial. And we will also play some audio from a video that Phil did to try and basically...
The dude's a crazy man.
Yeah, he was basically
he looks like a crazy man as we established last time, but now we can see he indeed walked the walk.
Ghoulish, garish, and just an all-around wackadoo.
Oh my God.
An all-around wackadoo is an absolutely perfect description for this man.
And I'll post... There's some actual footage from the trial that I found on YouTube, too, in which he just looks like... He's on so many very strong prescription drugs.
The dude's a fucking whack job.
Yeah.
Sitting there with his terrible 2003 video effect evidence. We'll get into that.
we'll get into it.
Because that would make me want to give him the fucking chair just for that fucking eyesore.
Oh my God. It's so funny. You guys, you're
in for a goddamn treat.
All right. So let's jump right in. So on Friday.
Kersploosh. It's us jumping right in.
Kersploosh. On Friday,
Kerchow.
May 29th.
Church out.
I can't. Okay, I need to pull myself together.
Come on, Meg. You're the glue that holds the show together.
But it was so funny. Okay, so on Friday, May 29th, 2009, Harvey Philip Spector was sentenced to 19 years to life for the death of Lana Clarkson.
Dude, spoilers.
This is a podcast all about how he didn't do it.
Okay.
It
Dun
had.
dun.
It had.
Dun, 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 dun.
Are we doing the Law and Order?
We could.
Sound?
That was my thing.
Go. Are you gonna do it?
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. It had been 6 years since the murder took place on February 3rd, 2003, when Lana was only 40 years old.
Murder.
Yeah. She was found shot dead, slouched in a chair
Oh.
from a single gunshot wound to the mouth, according to court documents. And she was still wearing her purse when she died. She was trying to leave.
One could
Basically.
surmise.
So-
Yeah, and the whole thing was he just tried to say that she killed herself, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
and-
his defense, was that she obviously was drunk and was like, I'm going to kill myself.
There were a few different defenses that his attorney tried to push as to why she would have been suicidal, but none of the stories match up. And we'll get into that.
Sign number
little
one,
bit later.
inaccurate stories.
Yeah, they were kind of jumping all over the place. And she basically, and this had happened before, and there's a quote that I will talk about later where like Phil would always do this, is just like bring women back to
Yeah,
his mansion.
yeah, you would just bring chicks back and be like,
Castle.
like,
and all
yeah,
that.
the
his
castle.
castle. And
Yeah,
like
if you take a good look at a lot of the evidence and sources that our lovely co-host and founder Meg put together painstakingly,
thank you.
you're welcome. You can begin to paint a picture that this guy has, like, from my very unprofessional and untrained standpoint, the dude has
Look
some
at this.
fucking issues.
He looks like he lives in Dracula's castle.
It
from his
was-
black and white.
It had
picture.
been built in the early 1900s by a farmer who did super well for himself. And
I mean,
then-
apparently the
then
dude's
the
building
town
a
filled
fucking
out.
castle.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you looked at it. but-
I did. I saw the pictures in the video.
Yeah, it's
it was
wild. He has
I mean,
suits
it's-
of armor
it's-
inside the house too.
Yeah, if you
Which, like,
if you look
I
at
had a
it,
castle, I would have suits of armor
Probably.
all over the place.
if you look at it,
And
it
my
just
own suit
looks
of
like
armor.
one of those top-down like helicopter photos of any celebrity's compound when anything is happening.
Yeah,
regarding
it does
them.
very much look like literally
Look,
any
he
celebrity
has all
house.
of these trees just like around his house.
Well, I can't blame him for wanting
Yeah,
to.
but
be immersed
his
in
choice
nature.
in landscaping aside,
Yeah.
if you really take a look at like all those videos and articles, you really begin to get this picture painted how like Phil Spector's kind of grip, if you will, begins to get lost as his popularity wanes, because like
Oh, yeah.
it talks about it a lot in these articles that like he was this guy that relished being in control, which is where his like fame came from when he was like essentially shaped a lot of these groups like the Ronettes and
The
the Beatles and the
Crystals.
Crystals and the Stones and all them, because like they didn't know what to do, so he got to like mold them. Whereas like when he worked with like more defined artists like Leonard Cohen and like they would push back, he would fucking lose his shit.
Yeah.
So
And-
then like as
No,
like
it's
as his
okay.
like stuff and popularity waned and he began to lose control, he like, you know, one of the videos I believe talks about how he's like he bought this castle so he could literally like lord over this like kind of suburby town that no one really wanted to live in.
your
and-
argument from last episode is correct. I think that Phil Spector is a vampire. Like, there's
Dude,
no
he
other
lived in a
option.
castle. He always wore black and funky clothes. He probably didn't like garlic because he's a psycho.
He's a fucking psycho.
Those are the signs.
And he couldn't cross running water.
It's true.
He couldn't look at himself in the mirror. No
He
reflection.
couldn't.
That's why the fucking wigs were so bad.
Yeah,
See, guys, we figured it out.
we did.
Now, who do you think is the Hollywood Van Helsing to hunt him down?
The
I'm gonna go
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand. Okay, I was gonna say Ron Perlman.
Okay. I think I might like that one more.
Okay, but
I feel like the
which
go-to
one's
there
Van
should-
Helsing and which one's Frankenstein from like the Hugh Jackman movie Van Helsing? Because
Ooh.
Frankenstein's the sidekick. So which one of those two is Van Helsing and which one is Frankenstein?
So I'm gonna say Ron Perlman as Van Helsing, and
Okay.
then for Frankenstein, I'm gonna go. I will say.
I don't know if there's.
No, Ron Perlman would definitely be Frankenstein.
I want him to be Van Helsing.
I don't know.
Hold on. I need to find. I don't know who the actor's name is. So I need to look up the guy from blank, and I don't want to say it because it'll spoil it. Because he's like the guy from that show.
Ron Perlman was the right choice for
Hellboy.
For Hellboy,
Yeah.
You gotta look.
The dude is a dude.
I'm scared if I say anything, you might come for me.
Yeah, he might.
So you know who I think should be
Not in a legal sense.
who should be Frankenstein is Zach Braff. I'm going far left on this one.
All right, so Spooky Spector's Dracula, Zach Braff is Frankenstein,
Coming to the drive-in near you.
and Ron Perlman.
So
as Van
Ron
Helsing.
Perlman with Zach Braff sidekick v. Phil Spector.
That's it. Okay, so back to the trial.
And since he's a vampire, he reanimates the corpse of John Lennon and
oh my fucking
motherfucking George
God.
to fight for him. The plot thickens.
John and George did like him a lot before he,
Before, tried to kill them that
Right.
one time.
Well, I'll talk about that story later.
I have a
There's few
fun side
quotes.
plot to explore once we've made a little bit more progress because this is
Thank
an
you.
insane headline I just read.
Okay. I kind of want to know now.
No,
All
you're
right,
gonna have to wait.
just wait until the perfect moment. Okay, so the trial went on for about 6 or 7 months and was overseen by Judge Larry Paul Fidler.
Fiddler.
Fiedler? Fidler.
I think Fiedler, 1D, right?
Fiedler. I know, but I like
well, no,
Fiddler
it's
so much better.
Fidler. But I feel like
Fiedler
if it was
is good.
Fiedler, there'd be an E after the I. Like Fiedler. I don't know.
Fiddler.
Fiddler.
Anyway, Fiddler
Judge
on the
Larry
roof.
Paul F. How about that?
Fiddler on the roof. Judge Larry Paul Fiddler on the roof. Oversaw. Oh my God, I can't talk today. Oversaw the trial. Jurors had deliberated for about 30 hours before stating a guilty verdict of second-degree murder, even though Fiddler on the Roof had told them to consider a lesser charge, such as involuntary manslaughter, probably to go more towards Spector's.
But they were like,
psyche.
nah, son.
And
Yeah, they were like, no.
wasn't that like the second round
Yeah,
of,
this is
of
the
a trial?
second trial. We haven't. Oh, look at my wife.
Puppy.
We haven't even talked about the first trial yet. So yeah, this was the
talk about the
retrial
first trial first?
because we will. I'm gonna kill you.
I'm just a big
Okay.
fan of chronology.
I know. So Spector was 69 when he was convicted, putting him to be
Nice.
79 today, and he's only served 10 years of the sentence thus far, and he won't be eligible for parole until 88.
I read in one of the things he tried to appeal
He did.
because he was like, this was not a fair trial.
They told him no.
Yeah, they were like, dude, get your fucking weird ass videos
Yeah.
out of here.
All of his weird videos.
Who let you get the Adobe suite in prison?
Honest
Phil,
to God.
nice PowerPoint, but this is not cutting it. This is 3 weeks in a row now you tried to show us this PowerPoint.
Although these transitions are very smooth and well timed out.
Timing, yes. Smooth. They're about as smooth as a or a low grit sandpaper.
Okay. So Spector's lawyer.
so low grit that it's actually just a rock.
It is sand.
Oh my God. After the conviction, Spector's lawyer issued a check to Lana's mother, Donna, of $17,000 to cover all funeral expenses. God, I'm so happy I have tomorrow off. And that was just another part of the sentence as well. So obviously 19 years to life, second-degree murder, and you have to cover her.
Yeah, the dude
funeral.
got fucking put away.
Yeah, I believe one of the quotes from Lana's mother was something along the lines of just, imagine all the things that we won't get to do together.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just have to visit you at the cemetery.
That's
Yeah,
almost
that
an
was,
exact quote, actually.
Sad.
Yeah. And I'll cite all these articles too on our webpage. I'll put up a link. You guys can look at them for
We
yourself.
have a webpage?
You didn't know we have a webpage?
Now, well, what do you mean webpage?
Like, we have a website that Podbean does for us, and we have like all our
Christopher, you've been on this podcast since March.
You didn't know we had a website?
Hell no, I didn't.
Chris.
No, go to podbean.com.
If you just go to the Googles, if you know what that is, and type in
There we
podcast
go.
in the sky with diamonds,
we come
enter.
up.
We come up, and it should be the first link. This is what happens behind the scenes, everyone.
This is the scenes.
This is our
this
website.
is the scene.
Okay.
We'll have a better one next year, but that's all I could afford.
I
It's still pretty good.
just
And then they have
wasn't
like
aware.
all of our contact information, music reviews, Sky sources, everything.
The only Sky source I need is God, thanks.
Praying to that Sky Boy.
Anyway, that was a great quote from Chris. I'm so proud of him for doing the
Sky
reading.
Daddy, that's what it was.
So like Andrew said, he did try and motion for an appeal, but Fiddler on the Roof denied the motion for a new trial by defense attorney Doran Weinberg. He tried arguing that Clarkson had been extremely depressed over a recent breakup and picked up the .38 caliber pistol to kill herself while in Spector's spooky mansion.
Yes, but the interesting counterpoint to that is like the DA for the area said, like, well, what's interesting is when we went in, there was literally only one drawer open in this 35-room mansion. So how did this girl that Phil Spector picked up, sidebar, how's he out there picking up chicks when he looks like a goddamn fucking half-melted lollipop is besides the point.
Well, another video I watched said that she basically went with him to kind of restart her career.
Oh yeah, but but I thought that was a thing that his defense team was trying to like spin, was that she was like this kind of B-level actress who like kind of like fell from fame.
She was.
And but like I think that was a thing the defense attorneys were trying to say, or Phil or Spector's defense dudes were trying to say, like, hey, well, she was B-level actress, she was clearly like emotional and like this and that 'cause she wanted fame and yada yada yada.
Yeah, which is why she went to like hang out with him, obviously. Like, come on, let's go rub elbows with like the most notable music producer in history
At 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and they also claimed,
they were rubbing something, right?
And they also claimed that that's another reason why she killed herself, is because her career was struggling.
Yes, but
So
I
they
thought
had,
that
like-
I really thought that was the thing the defense was saying, as like that one of their cases was like, yeah, well, she was depressed because she wasn't a good actress anymore.
Yeah, and they also said she was depressed because of a recent breakup. So they were like basically trying to pull.
Yeah, they were trying to like paint this picture of her as this very depressed person. But that's what I was saying was interesting is when the police do their investigation in this giant mansion, there's literally only the one drawer open where he kept that gun that he used to shoot her. So it's like, well, if she was going to do this, like, how would she have known?
Yeah, it's not
this
her
is
gun.
this is where he keeps the gun, the exact gun that was used in this case. You know,
And we'll talk a little bit more about his awesome history of firearm usage, inappropriate firearm usage. So there's a quote that I pulled from the CNN article that we were looking at that said his driver testified that he heard a loud noise and saw the producer leave the home, pistol in hand, saying, I think I killed somebody.
like that is
That's
no
a
pun. That
confession.
is no
Circumstantial.
that is no pun intended. A rather bit of a what some would call a smoking gun.
Oh my!
If you are literally walking out of the house with a weapon
Gun
in your hand,
in hand.
gun in hand, you're like, I just killed someone.
To make an admission of guilt.
Yeah, like if someone were to say that to me, I would one be scared and
Yes.
concerned, but two be like, dude, you just killed it. Someone is dead.
If you think you killed somebody,
Yeah,
you
do you-
probably did kill somebody.
Yeah, you don't just think you killed someone. You either do or don't kill
Yeah,
someone.
you would know.
or I hope you would.
Yeah. So during the trial, 5 different women took the stand to testify against him, citing a history of violence with firearms, as well as retelling their own experiences of Spector threatening them with a gun on multiple occasions. Spector's first trial took place in 2007, and like we said, ended in a mistrial when, after 15 days of deliberations, the jury couldn't come to a unanimous verdict with a 10-2 in favor of conviction. So 2 of them thought he was not guilty.
2.
What?
Well, either 2 of them thought he wasn't guilty, or 2 of them weren't convinced enough that he was.
Yeah,
to put
it's
him
not a
out of
hard
the way.
yes or no. They're like, well, we don't know. It could have been that too.
I mean, I get it, but like,
I mean, I'm not saying
I
saying
don't
that
get
he
it.
wasn't.
So another quote from Fiddler on the Roof, the judge. He
Why
said,
do I keep calling? Never mind.
Hi, what he actually prefers to be called F-bomb.
F-bomb. Okay.
F-bomb.
This
You have to
was-
say it like that every time.
This was not an isolated incident. F-bomb said, noting Spector's 2 firearm-related convictions from the 1970s. The taking of an innocent human life, it doesn't get any more serious than that. In the closing arguments at the retrial, prosecutor
A doe.
Hado.
Dudo called Spector a very dangerous man who has a history of playing Russian roulette with women, 6 women. Lana just
This time
happened
just
to
happened
be the sixth.
sick. This shit is like literally just out of like a goddamn crime documentary.
I know.
Or like story or whatever.
I know.
You get the idea.
Rock and roll meets true crime. So a little background on Lana, if any of you'll probably recognize her after I list off what she's been in. She starred in the 1985 B-movie Barbarian Queen and also appeared in many other films including Deathstalker, Blind Date, Scarface, and Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which is like
Yeah,
an
that's
80s
that's
classic.
the movie.
Yeah.
You'll be disappointed to know I've seen not even one of those.
That's sad.
I've never heard of Barbarian Queen.
I
until-
have.
You have?
Or Amazon Women on the Moon.
That's a spoof. That's the spoof she was in.
Of what?
Amazon Women on the Moon.
Of the Apollo landings?
I guess so.
Are you sure that wasn't like the terrible porno to the moon landings?
Could be.
Or what should I say? The poon? No, never
It is
mind.
a spoof.
I saw that GIF again today, which maybe
Of
neither of
Neil
you have seen,
Armstrong
of
punching the
fucking-
dude who
yeah,
tries to like deny
Buzz
the moon
Aldrin.
landing. Yeah, he's like the moon landing didn't happen. Then he just fucking socks him.
Good.
Fucking awesome.
So she had been working as a VIP hostess at the Hollywood House of Blues at the time of her death. So that was where her career was at. Which, honestly, working at the House of Blues in Hollywood, I feel like it wouldn't be that bad.
I mean,
Maybe
if you
it's that
go
bad.
from being a promising actress to being a hostess at a place, like,
Yeah, and like I mean, a VIP hostess at a place like that is like it's not somebody who's like telling the waiters and waitresses who's sitting where and shit. That's like somebody who's like doing bottle service and like
Who could hang out with
dressed
the famous
in
people.
not very many clothes and
Oh, true.
being generally mistreated probably.
Oh, true. God damn it. Objectifying
It was
women.
actually when Spector first got there that night.
at like
Lana,
midnight.
Yeah.
Lana mistook him for a woman because of his hair, and
Fucking
and
get
said,
wrecked.
said something like, so, sorry, miss, you can't come in here. And the person who was escorting Spector, whose name I forget, turned to Lana and was like, oh no, this is Phil Spector. You have to treat him very well.
Yeah, or else
And
he'll
apparently
kill
he
you,
was
but apparently
he was
did
pretty
anyway.
butthurt about it.
Maybe
So
that's,
first
that's
of all,
the motive right
there's
there.
the MOTIVE.
He was like, God damn
Mr.
it, she
Spector.
thinks I am a woman. I must fucking eviscerate her
Yeah, I guess.
with blind fury.
She will fall prey to my righteous fury.
To my Deus fault, Deus fault, Deus fault.
So, just to give you guys a little taste of what some of the other women went through, aside from like Lana being murdered, one of his assistants, Devra Robitaille.
Was that the one
Robitussin.
who like started working for him in the 80s who kind
Robitaille.
of looked vaguely like Stevie Nicks when she was young?
70s, yeah. But yeah, she did look vaguely like Stevie Nicks in the 70s. So she started working as his assistant in 74 and thought at first that he was really charming and intelligent and
But then she saw him almost shoot a fucking gun
yeah.
into the goddamn ceiling
Yeah.
with
So
the beetle.
the
Jonathan.
The Beetle.
The Beetle.
Jonathan Yennin.
Yeah. So
Jonathan Lemon.
Yeah. So she quoted as
My
saying,
name is Jonathan Lemon.
"Oh my God,
I am the beetle.
I'm gonna.
My
kill you."
sister is number 3 prostitute in our Kazakhstan.
Day Tripper, my best song.
I'm
oh
done!
yes.
Oh my God.
Hey Jude, yeah, 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 yeah.
While Meg is incapacitated, the thing I was going to talk about earlier is that apparently fucking Kim Kardashian either trademarked or attempted to trademark the word kimono, and that's pretty fucking
Like
not
as in
cash
as
money.
in the fashion item.
Trademarked KIMONO.
So
I
like
haven't read the article because
so like the article of clothing. Like a
either that or the
kimono.
word.
Because Kim, get it? I hate this.
Are-
All right, we're going back to Phil Spector. We're not talking about Kim Kardashian. This is not a Kim Kardashian
Oh,
podcast.
it isn't, but
But it could be.
So Devra quoted
She's
as describing Spector as charming, intelligent, and incredible talent with the musicians, though often difficult to work with.
Because he was crazy.
He was unique but controlling, and he was a heavy drinker. So as the night would go on in the studio, he would just
get
continue
worse
to
and
drink
worse.
and drink and
And he'd
drink.
lose
And
his
the more
shit.
he drank, the more erratic, basically, his behavior got.
And then
she was
one could assume he would hypothetically pull a gun.
Yes, and she was there the night that Spector shot the thermostat off the wall during a John Lennon recording session.
Oh yeah, because that was the thing where people are. I thought that was funny, where she was like, "There's a story where people think he shot the gun."
And then she was
it
like,
was a
"Oh
lie." She's like,
shit,
no,
I was there."
She was like, "It wasn't the roof. He shot the goddamn thermostat off the wall." And she's like, "I had to pick up the bill the next day."
Yep.
And then we weren't allowed back in the studio.
So basically, that happened, and then John turned to him very calmly and said, "I don't care if you're trying to kill me, but I do need my ears. So could you knock it off?"
Yeah, could you not? I would prefer. I'd like to have my ears. I'd like to have my ears on my head there, old sport. I don't need to hear what I'm trying to do.
There we go. It took you a second to get that
I had to
Liverpool
zero it
accent,
in.
but you did so good. I'm so proud of you.
No, thank you, Meg.
That's more of like a, you have such a Ringo woo at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah. I hate that just happened and we understood. Okay. So it was easier for him to keep control in the earlier days when he started as producing.
Yes.
Like when he was working with the Crystal and the Ronettes.
The
Ronettes.
Ronettes.
The Ronettes.
Oh yes, the Ronettes opening for me. John Lennon is a Beatle. They sing the song "Do the Ra Ra." Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So the Ronettes, simply because they were teenagers and it was easier for him to get control of the situation.
Oh, absolutely, because they didn't have a musical identity, if you will. Like they came to him to have that shaped, whereas like, after he did the shaping of them and all those other people, when famous people came to him, they're like, no, like I want you to do your thing, but I want my say back. Fuck no, basically.
Yeah, especially, after having such a well-established career like John Lennon had and George Harrison had, because Phil Spector didn't come on to that scene until the Beatles were breaking up. So they already had 6 or 7 years under their belts as like well-established musicians and knowing their style and knowing what they want. And Phil was also like, I have my style and this is what I want, or else I think it's going to sound like trash and I'm not doing it. And of course, John Lennon, being the sassy bitch that he was, hated that. So
yes, I'd appreciate if you don't do that for me, old chap.
So they came up with fantastic albums like All Things Must Pass and
all those things are going to
Imagine
pass.
and,
Imagine.
and all of those. But at the same time, it was really painstaking in order for them to produce those albums.
Yeah, I'd imagine that process must have been like passing a goddamn kidney stone.
And speaking of
passing kidney stones?
No. Lennon and Spector. Apparently, it was, I think, not long prior to Phil Spector brutally murder. Well, actually, all things considered, fairly cleanly murdering Lana.
Can you cleanly murder somebody?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I would oppose to. I'd rather have that happen than for her to be like fucking like put on the rack,
Defenestrated.
I think all murders are brutal. If we're looking,
I mean,
at
all
it,
murders are inherently brutal, but I'd rather just have a clean gunshot wound to the head than have like my skin flayed, or burned alive, or drowned, or stoned, or
fair
put in the
enough.
Iron Bull, or the Iron Maiden,
or you eat so many apples that the cyanide in the seeds kills you.
or you
At
do
first,
that.
I thought you said yeet, not eat, and
Or
I
you
was
get
like,
yeeted.
You get
What's
yeeted from this
happening?
mortal coil.
You know, one time I died. Somebody yacht me off of a mountain.
Yeah, I got yoded off of a mountain once.
Anyway, okay, back to.
I once got yoded into
What
another
were you
plane of
saying,
existence.
Christopher?
John Lennon had announced that he was intending to re-release that album. Imagine.
I'm gonna
but
re-release Imagine.
excise all of Spector's influences on it.
Which was not uncommon. Like even Leonard Cohen did different versions of his songs and re-released them after.
Also had an experience with Spector's gun
Sorry,
wielding.
guys. Yeah. So I mean, as brilliant as Spector was, he was a little anal about how he liked to do.
It was
his
little
work.
anal there, old chap. You like to do things his own way.
But
gonna re-release the album
honestly,
without
it's
shit.
also not uncommon for John to have re-released music like that, though, because even he re-released a bunch of tracks on like I guess he didn't, but for the Beatles anthology album that came out in the 90s, they put a bunch of the tracks on there that each individual one wanted them to sound like, but wouldn't really fit.
Common though it may have been, I have to imagine that somebody like Spector wouldn't.
Yeah, the dude was like
take that.
Oh no,
well.
he probably
What
took it
is-
very
what-
personally.
I can't think of the term. You're not a sociopath, but like someone who like you're very self-centered to like a terrible
Narcissist?
point. Narcissist.
Oh yeah, he was an absolute narcissist, which is what we'll talk about in the next little section that I have. What's wrong with you?
I just tried to drink water, just missed my mouth. I'm dribbling water down the front of my shirt right now. It was like it touched my lips, and then I don't know what. My mouth just moved a little bit. And
It's
bloop.
gone.
I think
So-
my beard caught a lot of it, so that's good.
I found this great article that I talked about in the last episode entitled "Dangerous Genius: The Rise and Fall of Phil
Philip K.
Harvey Philip
Spector.
Spector." So some of the biggest aspects about Phil that would probably lead him to have a lot of this insane behavior. We have to think back to when his father committed suicide. So he had daddy issues to start. His mom was mentally abusive.
Yeah.
He was probably bullied in school
Yeah.
because he was definitely a wallflower. So he had this intense fear of rejection and abandonment.
Same dude.
His ex-wife,
But I
Ronnie-
don't go around killing people.
Well,
yet.
no, normal people don't. But his ex-wife Ronnie, of the
Ronettes.
of the Ronettes,
Actually, wouldn't it be the Ronettes or of Ronnie?
something, said that he threatened to kill her if she ever walked
Now
out
we're
on
using
him.
semantics. Yes, he did.
Yes.
Which is
Fucked up, right? He had like
But it was a
pathological
little bit-
jealousy. He was mentally abusive, and he had
dude was a nutcase, bro.
bouts of violent anger and insecurity. He obviously abused substances. He was a heavy drinker. He was a misogynist.
He was a
He
heavy
suffered
abuser
from
of
mood swings.
firearms.
He was impulsive, and he had these incredible bouts of rage.
Leading up
Rage.
to the murder, the people who knew him had said that, well, first of all, that they hadn't seen him in a while, but that he hadn't been drinking, and that actually the night that it happened, when he went prior to the House of Blues, when he went to fucking Daltana or something, Dan D'Antoni,
Not to me, he's
He,
a Chuck Mangione.
he Joe Manganiello, he went and ordered a Bacardi 151 drink, which is, first of all, the vaguest bullshit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I
But
will have
also-
I will have one of your Bacardi drinks, please, good sir.
I
Yes,
can-
I am of
Hi,
legal age to drink.
I'd like to have a beer. But he ordered a drink, and apparently the owner or the manager or whatever, Phil, had been going there for quite some time, and that was the first time in like 3 years that he had ordered anything besides water or soda. And he actually went over to the table to like make sure it was right, because he was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And
So
then
obviously
sure
something
things
was
followed.
happening, and I'll
then
actually
someone died.
I'll play a little clip of a YouTube video that the Associated Press put up about
Yeah.
like it's from the trial, and you guys can hear the prosecutors. I don't know if it's the opening or closing statements. It's one of the
We'll
statements.
be doing some shit, dude.
So hold on, let me make sure that this is gonna work.
Just
Right.
hold the fucking phone, dude.
next clip is from Every Way to Cook a Potato from Bon Appetit.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
There's a pattern that emerges in Philip Spector's history, and it's a pattern that's indelibly etched into his history. When there's a woman,
Good fucking vocab.
alcohol, a loss of control, Philip Spector pulls a gun. February 3rd, 2003. Lana Clarkson. A woman, alcohol, a loss of control, and Philip Spector reaches for a gun. Pow.
Powerful stuff.
How good was
like
that?
that dude delivered that shit, dude. Just
Yeah, dude.
whoo.
Yeah, so that was the prosecutor. And he's right. Like that happened all the time. Like especially, back in like the 70s and 80s when he was producing music, is that he was constantly drinking and he was abusing pretty much everybody that was in the room. And then he would pull out a gun and he would start shooting things. I think there's a better way to handle your stress.
Yeah, there's a lot better ways of
inclined
handling
to
stress than
agree.
shooting people.
They should have gotten him like a squirt gun or a
Do
stress ball.
you think that Phil Spector ever like skinned cats when he was younger?
I could. He seems like he could.
I was actually about to kind of get into it. A lot of the stuff that happened to him
That's a bad hobby to get into. You should
What's going
pick
on?
up video games or something.
What? No.
What?
Meg's gonna start killing cats.
No,
Meg,
I'm
don't.
not.
Meg,
No.
Meg cat killer moves.
Me. I'm not gonna do that.
You better not.
So
I'll tell.
Shut up. A lot of the things
Are
that
you threatening
happened,
me?
I am. A lot of the things that happened in his childhood and like his father dying, his abusive mother, and all that, are very in line with events that happened to some of the most notorious serial killers in history. And
Yeah.
then another thing that also happens is brain damage. A lot of them also suffer from like
Oh yeah, he did have that whole
from a fall.
disfiguring car accident.
Yes.
What
so
age was he when that happened?
He was
it was in the
young.
70s.
Youngish.
So all of those behaviors, those very negative behaviors that I just listed off, like the substance abuse, the mood swings, impulsivity, and rage, after the car accident, they were all just magnified. Because he obviously suffered. He had like over 40 stitches to the back of the head, 30 or 40 stitches.
Yeah, that'd fucking do it, dude.
Yeah, so he had a lot going on. He was also diagnosed and treated for bipolar disorder, and he had schizophrenia medication.
Yeah, if you're on all those meds while drinking heavily.
Yeah, there's
Oh my
really
God.
when you mix that number of things together, there's no fucking way to know how it's going to affect you.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on there, and none of it is inherently good.
And I'd be inclined to believe that it could very, very well cause more damage, not even necessarily in the long term, but in the short term, just having that number of substances or fucking chemicals. Oh God, I hate that word.
Just having all that shit in your
That's a
system.
buzzword.
Yeah.
But yeah, just having that floating around in your brain and
No bueno.
fucking up your liver.
No bueno indeed.
No bueno indeed. All right. So now I'm going to play
Oh, sorry, excuse me.
this video from The Wall of Guilt that was published on July 5th,
Oh boy,
2010
buckle up.
of Phil Spector. It's a compilation of interviews that they had conducted in March of 2005 after he killed Lana Clarkson and before he went to jail for his crimes.
It's a short video, and listen to the clip. But I'd highly recommend
You
giving
need
it
to
a
you need to
look
watch it.
because it really just
It is
surmises the entirety of what a fucking absolute.
Yeah.
The visuals are very important.
I'll put it up on the Sky
High
Sources
quality.
on our website. But yeah, okay, here we go. Guys, shut up.
I'm Phil Spector, and I've been accused of the most heinous crime that one can be accused of, and I'm here to dispel some of the most incredible rumors that have come out about me and the act that took place in my home, which is a castle. The
Thanks.
evening in question, when the incident took place and we called for the paramedics, instead of the paramedics showing up, the police showed up and negotiated with me for 45 minutes before they came into the house, but no paramedics came to help the injured party who had administered a self-inflicted wound. Then after about 45 minutes, while the injured party could have possibly been saved from dying because nobody knows what her condition was,
She was dead.
alive or dead, the police decided not to enter the house as human beings and to protect and serve, but rather as animals, drunken animals, if you will, because I don't know that they were not drunk. Because all I know is that they came in barnstorming like stormtroopers and overwhelmed me physically.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there just because, and I pointed this out earlier, I need to point out that he accused the officers of being drunk
Mm-hmm.
He called them stormtroopers and animals
Some strong opinions being bandied about.
because they basically treated him as if he murdered somebody, which he did.
I'll say when I first started watching that video, I was like, oh, I mean, okay, fair enough. There weren't any paramedics. That's silly. But like, I can't imagine that he had to have escalated it somehow. It's not like they rolled up, opened, and were just like, hey, can we go in and check on the person? And he said yes, and they were like, okay, so we're not going to do that then.
Yeah, like there had to be something that happened for that 45 minutes. You know, it just.
Sketchball Phil Spector. All right, let's get back to it.
About between 12 and 16 of them from the Alhambra Police Department and knocked me down, broke my nose, gave me 2 black eyes, cracked my spine, all which received medical attention afterwards, and I have medical documents to back all this up. And when they did not feel that was sufficient, they tasered me with 50,000 volts of electricity. And there was a dying woman there which needed medical attention, and there was still no paramedics there, yet we called for the paramedics. Did you tape Mr. Spector? No. Why? Duh. You know, I mean, those are the answers you get.
What?
You can indict, the district attorney can indict a ham sandwich.
A ham sandwich.
There's no meat in a ham sandwich. The only women who have come forth that have said anything that had to testify under oath were the ones at the grand jury. And they lied. I can prove they lied by simply asking them to take a polygraph test. If they want to take a polygraph test, and the others who have come forth since were not asked to testify under oath. They just made statements to the DA. There's about 10 or 11 of them total. I'll show them how to make money. Here's a check for $100,000. The fingernail from
Think that check's
Apropos of nothing.
thumb,
Thumb.
which is her trigger finger.
All right, that I also was weird. How do you pull the
Take-
trigger with your thumb?
Well, so fucking.
Because like,
I imagine the idea is sort of like just
He's
holding
holding
it
it like-
backhand, which is
Yeah.
the most insane shit.
because if you're holding the gun like that, you're pulling it with these 2 fingers. Your
No,
thumb.
no. Yeah, with the barrel facing towards you,
Yeah.
the like sort of.
Oh yeah, but in
Yeah.
that case, if you're just
Here's the thing, Andrew. It's fucking stupid.
it is very stupid. That's one of the things that got me. I was like,
He makes
all right,
no sense. Just so everybody knows, when he was like, here's a check for $10,000 or however much he said,
Hundo.
$100,000. It was just some piece of paper with
Well, I do
just
think
a
it was a
giant
check.
scribble on it. It didn't say anything.
I don't even.
You
I
think
don't
you're
even
still offering that
necessarily-
$100K? Because I could use
I don't even
money.
necessarily doubt that check wasn't, signed and whatever fucking had it was for $100,000. But what the fuck? Who? So I'll show you how to make money. Here's a check. Anyhow, I didn't kill her.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
All
There's
right.
only like a
All right,
minute
Phil.
left. You relax. You're fine. Feels crazy.
We
but
do
we're
all
fine.
5 minutes of this.
Yeah.
Capped off because she pulled the trigger with it, and it was a false fingernail, and it came off. So half of it fell off on the floor, and the other, both halves split and fell on the floor. Apparently, Robert Shapiro said that he had half, and the police said they had the other half. Now, Robert Shapiro now says, I don't have the other half because that's obstruction of justice, and he can go to jail for that. So
Is
he
it?
deny, and then I fired him. I had been out at dinner and at the grill. I had been to another restaurant, Dantana's, and
That's the one.
then I stopped by the House of Blues close to closing time, and all of a sudden, Bill Spector could never have done this. He could never stand up and shoot a girl in the mouth with a gun. Where's my history of this? How
Well,
come for the last 40 years you've never heard stories about me pointing gun in women's mouths,
Well.
blowing their heads open,
And you know what?
and shooting women.
Well.
You know what?
Only after this Lana Clarkston incident did all this stuff come out. I've been functioning fine as a human being.
And you know what? He's right. He, up until that point, hadn't shot any women in the mouth.
No,
That's
he had
true.
just had a history of fucking
Of
violence.
threatening to do it
Yes. Yeah.
to all kinds of people, independent of sex or gender.
Hold on. I need to Google something really quick.
Well, you better make it quick.
You bet.
Hey, don't you tell me how to live my fucking life.
Okay.
You don't know nothing.
You
I don't know nothing?
know nothing about me.
Ben Shapiro.
That was the driver, I think.
Oh my God. The first thing that pops up is Ben Shapiro slams Google over email describing him as a Nazi.
Well, yeah,
No,
so
you're
here's the
thinking-
thing, is that Ben Shapiro is
A Nazi?
a Nazi.
I thought the guy's name was Robert Shapiro, not Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro's a
Ben Shapiro is the right-wing neo-Nazi dude.
Oh, that is him. Yeah, I was thinking of Robert Shapiro.
Yeah, we
then.
need Robert Shapiro. Different dudes. And if any... Nah.
You know, I'd bet that Ben Shapiro would stand up and shoot a woman in the mouth.
No, probably dudes. Did you see that interview on the BBC he stormed out of as the guy just asked him
Where the guy read him his own tweets or
yeah,
whatever.
and he was like, "What? How dare you?"
Shapiro. He was played by like...
Shapiro.
Wasn't he played by John Travolta in the OJ
I
TV
don't
show?
know, dude.
I think so. Was it? I don't know.
Who are you asking?
Anybody.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, I know exactly who we're talking about now, and that's all that matters. Okay.
Ooh, boy.
Let me get back to where I'm going.
Do it, dude.
Oh, fucking hell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So at the very end of this Dangerous Genius article, basically the author states that he believes that creativity and evil are two sides of the same coin. Two different sides of the same coin. This was like the closing argument to his article, pretty much. He said, at first glance, they seem contradictory and
Antithetical.
antithetical. God, I'm struggling. Antithetical, mutually exclusive, polar opposites. Yet, on closer inspection, creativity and evil represent two possible existential responses to life, both of which are present as potentiality. I cannot do this today in every human being. Jung's disciple, Lillian Freyron, writes perceptively that evil is of fundamental importance also in the creative process order.
Yeah, I think that order didn't need to be there.
That did not have to be there. Okay, in the creative process. I took the psychology of personality class at FSU, and we talked about Jung, and he is a fantastic psychologist.
To sort of advance the field kind of guy.
He basically mixed spirituality and psychology, which I thought was fascinating, and I did my entire final project on him. So he's great, and also not wrong. Where there is good, there is evil. It's like yin and yang. Can't have one without the other.
Yeah,
Not to say that evil is an inherent trait of humanity, but I think just sometimes being bad is. But then again, we can also go to the good versus evil. Is that a natural thing, or is it a concept that we created out of humanity? I don't know.
it's a concept we created.
Mm-hmm.
We invented morality.
But people will argue that it's not, and that's okay.
Well, here's why I think they're wrong.
Okay.
Because I said so.
About how
We don't have the time to discuss why I think they're wrong.
Are we talking about why we do or don't think evil?
Whether good and evil is a law of the universe or something that was created by humans, and it was created by humans. And here's how I know:
Was
when a
Phil
snake eats a frog, the frog doesn't say, "Wow, what a bad guy."
what a douchebag? So
Well, he might say that.
He might, but I don't know, man.
He's
Alignment
probably
charts
not
are
cool
fun.
with it. Alignment charts are fun.
we'll leave you on that. We're all
Oh.
fucked up. Doesn't matter. It's been a long day.
I'm not
I'm
fucked
doing
up.
all right. I
I'm
actually,
tired.
I got into bed at like 8:50 last night. I didn't fall asleep until like 11:40, but I think just being in bed for 3 hours before I went to bed really helped.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like
called
through.
resting.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't
I-
drink any coffee until like 1 p.m. today.
I'm gonna be
I-
resting
rocking and
on the
rolling.
beach all day tomorrow.
I read a book before I went to bed last night, or read a little bit of a book.
Very
What
good.
were you reading?
I am reading. I need to remember the
Here's-
author's
I
name.
think here at the end, just we can talk about things we're watching, reading, listening to.
Nope, we don't have to do that part.
We could.
We can, though, mention that Andrew is putting together a summer playlist.
Yes, I am. It is finally. I have everyone's parts. I just need to put it together. It should be out. I plan to have it out on Friday.
We're going to
long
mishmash
before
it.
this episode comes
Long
out.
before this episode comes out, probably, unless Meg fucking edits this episode and launches it while she's at the beach, which would be impressive, but you should enjoy your day off.
I'm going to enjoy my day off. Thank you.
Hell
I
yeah.
will start working on it the day after, though, before I go into
All right,
work.
I plan to release it Friday, which will be the 27th. No, but that's
No,
tomorrow.
27th
Tomorrow is
27th
Thursday.
is Sat-
The 28th.
No, 28th is Friday.
28th.
What? Is today Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Meg, you don't know.
You
Yeah.
know, all she knows is she has work off tomorrow. She has
That's
no
fair.
idea
I
what
get in
fucking-
that mentality sometimes.
That's all I care about is
Anyway.
that I can go to the beach tomorrow. Anyway.
I'm putting together a summer playlist. We each put together a short list of like 7 to 10 songs that are just some summery jams that we all enjoy, whether they be new songs, old songs, anything in between songs. And I want to release it because summer isn't summer if you don't have a sweet summer playlist.
I got some good jams, too.
Yeah,
that
Meg
I
Listen
had-
to it on the 4th.
Yeah, you all have put in some sweet jams on this.
I
Listen
was
to
impressed with Chris's as well.
it. Listen to it on the 4th or whatever day you are outside day drinking in a loose-fitting Hawaiian shirt with your friends. Or perhaps when you are sitting on the beach listening to this podcast, you're like, man, I wish I could listen to some music, but I want their take some fun summer music. Fucking boom! You got it!
Andrew's been a shouty boy today.
Andrew's popping off today.
He's got a
quoting
little
my
bit.
wife.
He's got a little bit of that fucking Latinx Miami magic in him.
Ow, ow! Shout out
Oh,
to my
God.
wife.
That is my girlfriend, for everyone who's wondering.
Love
But
her. Awesome.
anyway, we're putting
So-
together a playlist. It'll be out really damn soon, and it's going to be pretty damn dope. Give it a listen. Give it a follow. Share it with your friends, family, cousin twice removed, perhaps even your dentist.
Friends, lovers, ex-lovers, whatever.
Very relevant.
It is very relevant.
Very. But the book I was reading is Vicious by V.E. Schwab.
So thank you for sticking with us. Please give us a like, a follow,
A
a
share. Nice. Leave us a review. Leave us.
Yes, leave us a review.
Leave us a review. Send us cool shit.
Yes.
If you hell, send us an episode idea. If you're like, I want you guys to talk about this, dude.
we will do it.
Do that shit.
And
We'll quote you.
Add us.
We will credit you for the episode idea. It will be such and such a topic brought to you by insert person's name here.
you will get 100% of the profits from the show.
Yeah,
From the episode.
you will. Well,
Which is none.
which is not. Although I feel like we shouldn't say that because then if we start making money on these,
back.
then they could back us and be like, "Hey, you said I'd make 100% of the money. Now you guys are the fucking new
I'll say-
McElroy
Yeah, well,
brothers."
listen,
fucking they can come
I'll
at me
just-
with that verbal contract
I'll
to
just-
nobody.
I'll send them some baked goods.
All right.
How about
well,
a beignet, which
Well-
I was actually about to suggest everybody try. I've never had one.
you've never had a beignet?
Oh my god.
What?
All right.
I
we're
had one. I had a jam filled one down in
We're-
Miami.
I'm
Lovely.
done with you and your
Yum.
jam-filled pastries.
I've literally not mentioned jam filled pastries until this exact moment, even though relevant fun fact
Stop
today
looking at me like that.
today, guys, is Ich bin ein Berliner Day.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the day that
The day he gave that speech.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad I know that now.
Which, for those of you who don't, there's a common misconception that when JFK said that speech, it loosely translated instead of to I am a Berliner to I am a jelly donut, which is a rumor. It actually would loosely translate to also just I am a Berliner. It's just something that wouldn't really be said often.
I like jelly donut better. Okay.
I mean, yeah, I do too, because we get jelly donuts at
Contextually, though,
work.
probably people understood.
Yeah,
All right,
contextually,
guys.
people understood.
go eat a jelly donut.
Go
now.
eat a goddamn jelly donut.
Have fun. Be
Have
safe.
fun. Listen, I want someone, please. Please.
I need somebody.
Yes, but please, I want someone to send any of our socials or me, even personally, a picture of you listening to this show whilst eating a jelly donut.
Yes.
Please.
If
Andrew is literally begging
Please.
right now.
if you can
If you do that,
give us objective, empirical proof, perhaps in the form of a photo,
a
that
video,
you
a GIF,
listened to this and or any episode of this show
whilst eating a jelly donut
with at least 3 other people,
okay.
I will buy and mail all of you each a fucking Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, okay. I'm down with that. Yeah, if that happens, I will help Chris purchase you all Hawaiian shirts. So you heard it here first.
Should
this,
there be a weirdly high turnout, it will only be the first 3 groups.
Yeah, if a bunch of people are trying to get on this, it's the first 3 groups, but you heard it here, goddamn motherfucking first. On this, the day of our Lord, June 26, 2019, at specifically 8:40 p.m. here in Marlborough, Massachusetts. As we're recording this episode, if you take a picture with 2 other friends, perhaps forming a group of 3, and show us empirical evidence you are watching this show with those friends and are listening to the show with those friends in the car, in the bathroom, if you're all fucking in the bathtub together in bathing suits, that'd be kind of funny. I don't know.
Or not in bathing
suits. Or not in bathing suits.
But
I don't
preferably
judge.
censor that when you send us.
Please do. I don't want to see your dongers. But if you send us that shit, we will mail you some goddamn Hawaiian shirts. Send us your shirt sizes. We can make sure they fit, because I don't want to send you a little baby Hawaiian shirt, although it'd be really funny to get a follow-up video of you trying to squeeze into a little kid-sized Hawaiian shirt. Unless you are a child, then you will get a kid-sized shirt.
And excuse my French. Good night.
Don't excuse my French. Good night.